I am speaking to you now because something that was once hidden has been allowed to be seen, a sign carved in silence, a cry pressed into wood, and heaven did not permit it lightly. When my tears touched the statue, it was not for spectacle. It was not for curiosity. It was not to create headlines that rise and fall like waves. It was because the world had grown too loud to hear a whisper. So mercy chose to weep. You heard about the blood. You heard about the blood. You heard about the witnesses. You heard about the experts who examined and measured and debated. But what you did not hear was the ache behind it. My child, when a mother's tears fall as blood, it is not a decoration. It is a warning born of love. It is sorrow carried too long in silence. It is heaven leaning close because danger approaches and too many are asleep. I do not weep because I am weak. I weep because I see. I see the quiet collapse inside souls who smile outwardly but are starving inwardly. I see families divided not by distance but by pride. I see children growing without prayer, without covering, without knowing they are cherished beyond measure. I see hearts numbed by distraction, and I see how close humanity stands to a threshold it does not recognize. The tears were not about punishment, they were about awakening. Thousands gathered, cameras flashed, some knelt, some mocked, some analyzed. But the true miracle was not that a statue wept. The true miracle was that heaven still cares enough to cry. You must understand something very important. Heaven does not perform signs to entertain unbelief. Signs are given when words have been ignored. Signs are allowed when urgency cannot wait. My child, you are living in a time when truth is blurred, when wrong is defended loudly and right is whispered cautiously, when comfort is chosen over conscience. And many have convinced themselves that tomorrow will look like yesterday. But I tell you now, the ground beneath humanity is shifting, not in one dramatic explosion, but slowly, quietly, almost politely. And that is why the tears were seen. Blood speaks of life, blood speaks of sacrifice, blood speaks of covenant. When those tears were witnessed, heaven was saying something deeper than anyone realized. The wounds of the world are not hidden from God. I see the wars of the heart. I see the violence in words. I see the abandonment of innocence, and I also see you. Yes, you. You who clicked because something inside you felt stirred. You who sense that this is not just another story. You who feel a weight in your chest that you cannot explain. That stirring is not fear, it is recognition. You were drawn here because your spirit is not asleep. Even if you are tired, even if you are confused, even if your faith has felt thin lately, you are still listening, and that matters. When my tears fell, they carried the sorrow of a mother watching her children drift toward cliffs they insist are harmless. I do not shout because shouting closes ears. I weep because tears open hearts. But listen carefully now. The world will try to reduce this miracle to chemistry, to coincidence, to manipulation. It will dissect the surface while ignoring the message. That is what happens when hearts prefer explanation over conversion. I am not offended by examination. Truth does not fear light, but I am grieved when curiosity replaces repentance. The tears were not a puzzle to solve, they were a call to return. My child, many are spiritually drowsy, not evil, not cruel, just drowsy, numbed by endless noise, distracted by constant scrolling, comforted by the illusion that faith can wait until later, later. That word has stolen more souls than open rebellion. The tears were mercy interrupting later. I allowed them to be seen because silence had stretched too long, because prayers in many homes have grown faint, because reverence has been traded for convenience, because the sacred has been treated as optional. And yet, I do not come to condemn, I come to cover. I am with you. I am for you. I am covering you, even now. Do not mistake warning for rejection. When a mother warns her child about fire, it is not because she hates the child. It is because she knows the burn is real. There are fires approaching the world. Fires of division, fires of confusion, fires of moral collapse disguised as progress. and many will walk into them smiling, but you are being awakened. When those tears were studied, human blood was found, life inside the sign. Think of that, life within sorrow. Do you see the message? Mercy is still alive, redemption is still possible, the door is not closed, but time is not endless. You feel it, don't you? That strange pressure in the air lately, that sense that something is accelerating. Conversations feel tense, news feels heavier, hearts feel restless. This is not imagination. Creation responds when moral order is strained. Families feel it first, then communities, then nations. And still I weep, not because hope is gone, but because hope is being ignored. My child, I need you to stay awake, not anxious, not panicked, awake. There is a difference. Anxiety scatters, awakening steadies. The tears were not a prediction of doom. They were an invitation to alignment, a plea for prayer, a call to humility, return to simplicity, return to reverence, return to God. If you think this message is only for crowds, you misunderstand it. It is personal, it is intimate, it is for homes, for bedrooms where silent tears fall at night, for souls who feel disconnected but pretend they are fine. I saw the nights you questioned your purpose. I saw the times you scrolled because silence felt uncomfortable. I saw the compromises you justified because everyone else did. I am not listing these to shame you. I am calling you back. The world has normalized spiritual sleep. It laughs at devotion. It mocks obedience. It celebrates self sufficiency as if dependence on God were weakness. But dependence is strength. Humility is protection. Prayer is armor. The tears on wood were a visible grief for invisible drift. And I tell you now, more signs will not help those who refuse to listen. Miracles do not change hardened hearts. Only surrender does. So I ask you gently, where are you right now? Not physically, spiritually. Are you distant? Are you distracted? Are you delaying what you know you should restore? This is your moment. Heaven is not asking for perfection. Heaven is asking for willingness. When I wept, I carried both sorrow and hope. Sorrow for what could unfold if humanity continues asleep. Hope for those who will awaken before it is too late. Do not wait for louder warnings. Do not wait for personal crisis. Do not wait for loss to teach you what humility could have taught you gently. My child, the tears have already fallen. The sign has already been given. The question now is not whether the miracle was real. The question is whether you will respond. I am close to you right now, closer than you think. My mantle is not symbolic. It is prayer surrounding you, intercession covering you, protection available to you. But protection is strongest when welcomed. Stay with me. Do not scroll away from conviction. Let it settle. Let it soften you instead of hardening you. The world may debate the blood, but heaven is watching the heart, and yours is still listening. That is why you are here. Stay, because what I must reveal next will go deeper than the tears themselves. My child, breathe. Do not rush past this part. The world saw the blood as a mystery. Investigators examined it, crowds gathered, voices argued, but very few asked the question that mattered most. Why would a mother's sorrow take such a visible form? The blood was not about spectacle, it was about identification. Blood is what flows through you when you are alive. Blood is what spills when you are wounded. Blood is what binds family together. When my tears appeared as blood, heaven was revealing something intimate. I am not distant from your suffering. I am not observing from afar. I feel the wound of this world as if it were my own flesh, because it is. You are my children. When you ache, I ache. When you fall, I feel it. When you drift, I grieve. The tears were not only for nations or systems, they were for living rooms, for hospital beds, for empty cribs, for marriages that smile in public and bleed in private, for young souls scrolling late at night, pretending they are not lonely. Yes, I see that too. The cry hidden inside the blood was this: my children are hurting, and they do not know where to turn. Many today are not openly rebellious. They are exhausted. They are overwhelmed. They are carrying invisible burdens and calling it normal. You wake up tired, you move through responsibilities, you laugh when expected, but inside something feels fragile. That fragility is not weakness, it is a signal. It is the soul longing for shelter. The world teaches you to hide your wounds, to curate strength, to appear unshaken, but heaven does not ask for performance. Heaven responds to honesty. When the statue wept blood, it was not only heaven speaking to the world, it was heaven mirroring the hidden bleeding inside humanity. Look at society, so connected yet so isolated, so informed yet so confused, so expressive yet so unheard. Many have replaced prayer with opinion. They speak constantly but rarely kneel, and kneeling heals. My child, the blood tears were also for the wounds caused by indifference, not dramatic evil, not headlines of horror, but quiet neglect, neglect of truth, neglect of reverence, neglect of the sacred. Small compromises repeated over time create deep fractures, and many do not notice the fracture until something collapses. I have watched hearts grow colder, not because people stopped caring entirely, but because they learned to protect themselves from disappointment. Do not hope too much. Do not trust too deeply. Do not feel too strongly. But love requires risk, and when love is restrained, the soul begins to starve. The tears were a sign that heaven refuses to grow indifferent, even when humanity does. I will not stop loving you. I will not stop interceding. I will not stop calling you back, even if you feel far away, especially then. You may wonder, but why blood? Why not simple water? Why such intensity? Because the hour is intense. You are living in a time when moral lines are redrawn daily, when innocence is questioned instead of protected, when confusion is celebrated as freedom, and many feel the tension but cannot articulate it. It is like walking into a room where something is wrong but no one admits it. That tension is spiritual. The blood tears were heaven saying, the wound is real, the condition is serious, but treatment is still possible. Do not misunderstand me. I am not speaking doom over you. I am revealing diagnosis so healing can begin. My child, let me speak gently to your personal heart now. There are places in you that still bleed, old betrayals, unresolved grief, mistakes you replay in silence. You have learned to function despite them. You tell yourself you are fine. You compare your pain to others and minimize it. But pain minimized is not pain healed. When the tears fell, they were also an invitation for you to stop pretending. Stop pretending you are not tired. Stop pretending you are not afraid sometimes. Stop pretending you do not need God. Needing God is not regression, it is maturity. The world glorifies independence. Heaven honors surrender. There are secret tears you have shed that no one saw. Nights where you stared at the ceiling wondering if things will ever feel steady again. Moments where you felt forgotten. You were not forgotten, just as the blood on the statue was seen after long silence. Your hidden suffering is seen even if no one applauded your endurance. The cry inside the blood says, return before the wound deepens. Return to prayer that is honest, not polished. Return to forgiveness, even if it feels unfair. Return to gratitude, even when circumstances are not perfect. These are not religious tasks, they are spiritual medicine. And I know forgiveness feels heavy, gratitude feels forced when you are weary, prayer feels dry when you are distracted. But dryness does not mean absence, silence does not mean rejection. Many hearts have stopped praying because they expected constant emotional response. But faith is not built on sensation, it is built on trust. The tears also carried sorrow for the way sacred things have been treated casually. Faith reduced to trend, reverence reduced to preference, the holy reduced to optional. When sacred ground is walked on carelessly, the soul loses stability, and instability produces anxiety. Have you noticed how restless the world feels? Even success does not satisfy. Even achievement does not quiet the mind. That restlessness is not cured by more stimulation. It is calmed by alignment. My child, you cannot heal a wound while denying it exists. The blood tears were acknowledgement, A mother saying, yes, the wound is real, but I am here. I am here, not accusing you, not abandoning you, not standing at a distance. I am kneeling beside you. The blood also speaks of sacrifice. Love that endures suffering instead of fleeing from it. Love that remains when rejected. Love that continues when mocked. You may feel mocked for your faith sometimes, pressured to dilute it, encouraged to keep it private so it does not inconvenience others. But faith hidden out of fear grows thin. I am not asking you to shout. I am asking you to stand quietly firm, to choose integrity even when it costs approval. The world is bleeding in ways it does not recognize. Broken trust, broken families, broken meaning, and many attempt to patch spiritual wounds with material distractions. But distraction does not disinfect. Prayer does, humility does, repentance does. These words may feel heavy, but heaviness is not cruelty, it is seriousness. A doctor who whispers gently while ignoring infection is not loving. The tears were serious because the hour is serious, and yet mercy is still flowing. The fact that the tears appeared means grace has not withdrawn. If heaven intended abandonment, there would be silence, not signs. So do not hear this chapter as condemnation. Hear it as embrace. You are not beyond restoration. You are not beyond healing. You are not beyond purpose, but you must respond. Do not let this remain an interesting story you heard online. Let it become a turning point. Examine your heart gently. Where have you grown numb? Where have you delayed obedience? Where have you allowed distraction to replace devotion? No one else needs to know. This is between you and God. When blood flows, it means life is still present. Dead things do not bleed. The world's bleeding is proof that it is not beyond redemption. And your tears, your own quiet tears, are not signs of failure. They are signs that your heart is still alive. Alive hearts can change. Alive hearts can return. Alive hearts can love again. Stay with me. Let the cry hidden inside the blood echo inside you, not as fear, but as invitation. Because what comes next is not just diagnosis, it is decision. And you, my child, are standing at it now. My child, listen carefully now. This is not the gentle part. This is the part where love becomes firm. You have heard the sorrow. You have felt the ache hidden inside the blood. But sorrow without response becomes tragedy, and I will not allow you to drift into tragedy without warning you. There is a veil lowering over many hearts, not a veil of darkness that looks frightening. No, that would be easy to resist. This veil is soft, comfortable, subtle. It feels like normal life. It is called spiritual slumber, and it is spreading quietly. The spirit of slumber does not announce itself. It does not tempt you with obvious rebellion. It whispers, rest a little longer, pray later, reflect tomorrow. It is not urgent. Later, tomorrow, not urgent. These are the lullabies that rock souls to sleep. You are not being attacked first by chaos. You are being numbed by comfort. Look around you. People are busy, productive, entertained, informed, but spiritually, many are drifting. They speak of everything except eternity. They plan for years ahead, but rarely examine their souls today. This is how a veil falls, gradually, almost politely, and when it fully settles, conviction feels extreme, devotion feels unnecessary, repentance feels dramatic, holiness feels outdated. My child, do not let that veil cover you. Stay awake. I say this not to frighten you, but to steady you, because once a heart becomes numb, even miracles cannot penetrate it. You saw blood tears and you felt something. That feeling is precious. Guard it. Guard your tenderness. Guard your conscience. Guard your hunger for truth. The spirit of slumber thrives on distraction, endless noise, endless scrolling, endless debate, always stimulated, never still. Silence terrifies a numb soul, but silence strengthens an awakened one. This is why prayer has become difficult for so many, not because God moved, but because attention has fractured, minds jump, hearts wander, minutes feel long, and so people give up. But prayer is not measured by perfection, it is measured by persistence. Even when your thoughts scatter, stay. Even when your words feel dry, stay. Even when you feel nothing, stay. Slumber loses power when you remain. There is something else you must understand. The veil does not only fall over individuals, it falls over cultures, over families, over entire generations. Right is redefined, truth is softened, conviction is labeled intolerance, and slowly conscience becomes negotiable. When conscience becomes negotiable, protection weakens. My mantle, the covering of intercession, is real, but protection flows most freely where hearts are aligned. If you insist on walking toward danger, I will still pray for you. But alignment invites stronger shelter. I am with you, I am for you, I am covering you, but you must choose to remain under that covering. Remaining under my mantle is not superstition, it is not ritual, it is obedience to grace. It is staying close to prayer, staying close to truth, staying close to humility. The spirit of slumber whispers, "You're fine as you are, no need to examine yourself, no need to change. But growth requires discomfort. If you never feel conviction, it may not mean you're perfect. It may mean you have stopped listening. Conviction is mercy. It is a gentle tug before a dangerous fall. Many ignore small tugs. Then they blame God for large consequences. I do not want that for you. Awaken now, before events force awakening. Because let me tell you something with clarity. The world you see today will not remain as it is. Systems shift, alliances fracture, stability trembles. When shaking begins, those who built their lives on convenience will panic. Those who built their lives on faith will stand. I do not say this to produce anxiety. I say it to prepare your foundation. Strengthen your inner life now. Restore prayer in your home. Guard what enters your eyes and ears. The veil often falls through what you consume daily. Words shape thought. Thought shapes desire. Desire shapes action. Do not feed your soul confusion and expect clarity. Do not feed your mind mockery and expect reverence. Be vigilant but not fearful. There is a difference. Fear scatters you, vigilance anchors you. The spirit of slumber also attacks through compromise, small ones at first. This is harmless. Everyone does it. It is not that serious. But repetition builds pathways. Sin rarely storms the front door. It slips through unlocked windows. Examine your windows. Are there habits dulling your discernment? Are there conversations eroding your conviction? Are there influences that subtly mock what you once held sacred? You do not need dramatic change. You need intentional change. Small decisions repeated consistently build armor. Wake up earlier for prayer, even 5 minutes. Turn off what numbs you, even one source. Speak gratitude out loud, even when tired. These are not dramatic acts, they are awakenings. The veil cannot settle on a moving heart. And I must speak firmly about something else. Neutrality is no longer safe. You cannot remain comfortably undecided between light and confusion. The hour demands clarity, not aggression, not arrogance, but clarity. Choose truth even when misunderstood. Choose reverence even when mocked. Choose obedience even when inconvenient. The spirit of slumber convinces many that blending in is harmless, but blending slowly erases distinction. And you were not created to dissolve into culture. You were created to carry light. Light does not argue with darkness, it simply shines, but it must remain lit. Keep your lamp filled, keep your conscience clean, keep your heart soft. There will be voices promising security if you compromise conviction, promising acceptance if you dilute truth, promising peace if you remain silent. Do not trade eternal stability for temporary approval. Approval fades, truth stands. My child, if you feel discomfort reading this, do not run from it. Discomfort can be holy. It means something inside you is stirring. That stirring is life. Respond to it. Say quietly in your heart, "Awaken me, Lord." Even that small prayer breaks slumber. I am not asking you to become severe. I am asking you to become steady. The world does not need angry believers, it needs anchored ones. Remain gentle, remain firm, remain awake. When you feel tempted to drift, remember the blood tears, not as horror, but as reminder. A mother who wept so you would not sleep through danger. You are not powerless. You are not insignificant. One awakened soul changes atmospheres. One praying parent protects a household. One faithful heart strengthens a community. Do not underestimate your obedience. And now I speak this with authority. Do not fear. Fear is not the antidote to slumber. Love is. Perfect love casts out fear. When you know you are covered, you can stand calmly even as others panic. When you know heaven walks with you, you do not need constant reassurance. Stay under my mantle, not by superstition, by prayer, by humility, by choosing light daily. The veil is descending over many, but it does not have to descend over you. Awaken before it settles, because the next chapter is not warning, it is mercy breaking through. Stay, do not drift now. My beloved child, stay with me. Do not close this moment too quickly. You have heard the warning, you have felt the weight, you have stood at the edge of awakening, but now I speak to you not with sorrow, not with urgency alone, but with promise. Mercy still flows. Yes, the tears were real. Yes, the hour is serious. Yes, the veil is descending over many. But listen to me carefully now. If heaven intended destruction without remedy, there would have been silence. Tears are proof of love. Warning is proof of care. Conviction is proof that grace has not withdrawn. The blood that appeared was not only a sign of sorrow, it was a sign that mercy is still alive. Blood carries life, and life means there is still time. You are not standing at the end, you are standing at a door, and the door is still open. My child, I know something about you now. You did not leave. You stayed through warning. You stayed through discomfort. You stayed when conviction stirred. That means your heart is not hardened. And that is everything. Many will watch signs and feel nothing. Many will hear warnings and mock. Many will scroll past conviction because it interrupts comfort. But you stayed. Heaven sees that. Heaven honors that. Heaven responds to that. Mercy is not fragile, it is powerful. It does not beg for attention, it waits for surrender. And surrender is not humiliation, it is alignment. You do not need to fix your entire life tonight. You need to say yes. Yes to truth. Yes to prayer. Yes to turning back where you drifted. Do not complicate what is simple. Return. That is the message hidden beneath every tear. Return before pride convinces you that you are fine. Return before distraction steals another year. Return before regret becomes heavier than repentance. Repentance is not shame. Repentance is relief. It is the exhale after holding your breath too long. It is the door reopening after thinking it was locked forever. There are things you regret. I know them. You replay them. You wish you had chosen differently. You wish you had spoken differently. You wish you had resisted when you compromised. Listen to me now. Regret can either chain you or cleanse you. Bring it into light. Say, Lord, I was wrong. Say it without excuse. Say it without defense. Say it simply. Heaven does not humiliate the humble. Heaven restores them. The world tells you that admitting fault makes you small. But in heaven, humility makes you strong. Mercy still flows. It flows into marriages that feel fractured. It flows into children who feel lost. It flows into minds burdened by anxiety. It flows into hearts that feel stained beyond repair. Nothing surrendered to God remains contaminated. Nothing. You are not disqualified by your past. You are not abandoned because you hesitated. You are not rejected because you struggled. But you must respond. Do not wait for another sign. Do not demand louder miracles. The tears were enough. The stirring in your chest is enough. Right now, where you are, you can begin again. Whisper, I return.